And we are into a round of 16 match. I can't believe that ByuN trigger was a round of 32 of all things. An unlucky seed for ByuN, like I say. He got seed 16, and that's just slap bang straight into playing against MaxPax here in the round of 16, which is, like I say, it's just a tough draw at the end of the day. In the top left corner, the blue Protoss player is going to be MaxPax, and he does take on the red Terran. Down in the bottom left corner of the map, we have got the Shopify Rebellion's ByuN. So we settle into TvP, and obviously from one TvP to the next, but like I say, following, it just makes sense because it was ready to start, fresh series, fresh best of 3. We might switch areas of the bracket when it comes to the round of 8, because there's a likelihood the next match on this section is PvP as well, so we'll get to that when we get there, though. We'll see what's available, we'll see what's happening. We just heading to the bottom left side. Gateway coming up, the barracks on the way through. Next coming through, Cybercore coming up, Reaper and the Orbital coming up as well. Remember Stephanie, this really is just the probe to watch. There is the Reaper that will pop, and that should deny the probe initially as well. This probe is going to leave a little late to make too much of a gap. Oh, did he not see the barracks was up there? Oh, that's funny. He thought the Reaper was really going to have to come back and deal with him. He presumed the barracks was like here on the map or so. He did not check the corner, so that probe sticks around. That probe could have been long gone and hidden. But yeah, I think he was like, hey, I want to use this probe to make you make a choice. It's obviously not a choice if that Reaper spawns in the base still. You're just going to pop out and kill the probe. So, yeah. Nice little play as the Reaper moves in toward the natural. Pile on the Nexus going to be there. Twilight Council is the tech choice. No surprise for MaxPax to play the Twilight. MaxPax still playing just very aggressive PvT. Played a mixture of Robobay and Storm openings yesterday in that best of 5 semi-final against Clem during the Team Liquid Map Contest tournament, so we got a good idea of where MaxPax might be at in this current patch, which is honestly just kind of in a position where he's kind of happy to play a bit of this, a bit of that, and just sort of see where the games are going to go and see what kind of comes out of them. So, like if Reaper pulling away, Starport is indeed producing. That's going to be done in a couple of moments from ByuN, and that gives us the medevac to get some aggression on this map. Get some opportunity to deal some damage, so we get all of that ready. Marines up in the front, the Hellions gathering around. Looking at the warp kit coming up. The robot facility going to build from MaxPax. Let's see our gateway coming up around the top side. So we get the gateway coming through. The medevac up the left-hand side as well. Going to go for a little bit of a boosty boost. I'm going to unload these Marines into the corner of this main. I mean, the Stalkers are a little bit far, so we're going to have to pull the probes away and try and fight this with Stalkers that can't blink just yet, remember. We actually do need to unload a couple more Marines still. At the same time, the Hellions are into the natural, and MaxPax is completely out of position. 7 probes, but there's a massive group of probes over here. They're lined up, and those Hellions are going to get a lot of splash damage done. 8 workers killed. Surely we're going to get more than 1 worker out of that massive line. Hello? Target fire? Anything? Oh my goodness. We are in the main base still with these Marines, still going after probes as well. They're going to get a few more kills, target firing them down. It's been a beautiful opening so far from ByuN, who does 13 probes of damage, able to get so much done. Ton of value found so far as the Prism and the Stalkers continue to build up, and we are going to see a couple Stalkers can go on the map, but I'm not really sure what you're going to be able to properly, attain by heading onto the map right here. with that group of units. Marine, tank, a Viking. Reducing on up, the medevac comes back in. There's just a few Marines, but it only takes a few Marines to force the probes to pull away again. They're going to pull into the choke point. That is not going to help you. Stalkers are going to be up against a siege tank in a moment. I don't think there's the numbers to jump on that siege tank either. We'll delay the bunker, but that's about all. 4 probes went down to that redrop of the Marines, and the Stalkers blink a little bit deeper. This is an awkward moment for ByuN where you've got to try and find this defense, and so far we're not quite able to do that. Cancel on the bunker, the few Stalkers peel back, and we have ourselves the Marine tank Banshee all producing through from ByuN. Again, some good tech units online. The starboard even going to depart from the tech lab and make way for the barracks to start up the other upgrades. But the Viking here able to get some shots off on the prism and slowly nip our way through that. It puts us in a good position where we are able to just say, hey, look, you know, you can't stick around here at this prism. You can't keep poking around. You've got to make a decision. You've got to get out of here for the most part, most likely. That is kind of what happens as we get a scan for the observer there as well. So you take away the vision and the ability for MaxPax to preemptively know every move he's about to make because he can see everything that you are doing. Order turret gets 2 workers, it's even more lost mining time, and that's just adding up in a world where MaxPax is down 6 workers at 6.5 minutes. He is in a very uncomfortable position. And as ByuN gets towards the extra tech and so, he is just going to be more and more set to play out a very, very comfortable situation here. Good defense this time against the Prism as well. No kills really allowed, so just a tiny bit of, pulled worker lost, mining time lost. As you have the Stim and the +1 still coming through. The Stalkers on the bottom side will settle as well. Raven just sitting between the main and the natural. Charge and Storm still building through. We've got our Nexus on the way up. And these Stalkers gathering around there as we just have Marine Marauder still building. We had a couple of barracks into play also. Storm producing, Nexus on the way out. Again, a couple of gates being added on. We had those High Templar in as well. ByuN will pause. Doesn't happen very often, but we'll take a moment here and hopefully get this sorted out. Ping issue. A lot of players who've had kind of, just little ping issues lately where it's just spiked and surged. Servers are definitely not being our best friends as of late, so hopefully they can do something to try and sustain themselves. Take a moment or two. Any updates on the bracket? Hero 2-1 Percival, Clem 2-1 Creator. So yes, there are updates, but they are based on expected results, but then it's expected final results, but maps taken that were maybe not expected. So a couple things going on in a couple of those other games, like say Clem dropping a map to Creator, Hero dropping a map to Percival though. Like PVT is clearly still in a little bit of a state of the unknown, right? Where we're not quite completely sure where we're truly at in that matchup yet. With a lot of people, I think still just trying things out and figuring out what's working and what's changing, how you can play and all those kind of things too.
Game resumed.
We resume into Stimpak combat and +1 upgrade on the way from ByuN. Very comfortable position from his opening. He's in a great spot. Storm coming up from MaxPax. This is one of those scenarios where in the last patch, if I was watching this game the last patch, I would be like, well, I feel like ByuN's had a great game. It makes sense to me that ByuN's leading. And then ByuN will walk across the map, 2 storms, 3 storms, 4 storms drop down, and it's just like, oh, well, yeah, ByuN can't do anything. Or actually, ByuN just lost his whole army. And that would be kind of the issue where it's like the Terran gets great damage early, and from that damage, you should be able to take something off a lead. I don't think that should mean you insta-win. But a lead should look like a lead. Whereas it just never really turned into anything else. So we'll see what happens here, and if ByuN can get across the map and see if this new Storm can be anywhere near as effective at kind of zoning and keeping the Terran back with this Terran advantage that ByuN finds from just very successful harassment super early in the game. Bio stepping straight through, and we are going to see those Stalkers already falling away now. Again, a little bit more done. The Stalkers go on the other side. A couple of medevacs. Gotta be careful. Some Zealot harass coming back through as No surprises there that MaxPax is right on top of trying to get some work done. So doing the best he can in terms of clearing that up, as ByuN's not going to go all the way across the other side. 12 SCVs go down, and that's the kind of play you're waiting for from MaxPax. Help bring you back in this game. It's not going to offset the current army sizes, but it does a lot. Push you in the right direction for the future, as now you're going to see ByuN, a few of these Marines caught off guard as well, so there's another mistake. He's going to stim, but now the tanks are a little bit exposed. Might have to try and save those with the medevac, but just loses the first one. Storm on the Widow Mines, which we're then going to set off anyways with the Zealots, a bit unnecessary perhaps. Mind there, just getting a splash on a couple Stalkers. The main Stalker blinked away, just didn't take the brutal brunt. As the Zealots in the main base are still going huge, so ByuN is not dealing with that well at all, and MaxPax is able to do very well. These last minute and a half, has really been excellent for him, as so many SCVs dead from ByuN. I mean, he's now down to being a 38 worker Terran after... I mean, he was in such a good spot. Like, he did so much damage. I was saying, like, his army's going to get on the map and make work happen. He's being completely picked apart by this Prism. No consolidated defense against it. And at the same time, losing the fight in the middle because he was just a little disjointed. And he wasn't ready to fight in the middle of the map while trying to deal with the harassment back at home. And ByuN walks into trouble. And now sits here in this game number 1. Probably in the losing position because he's just about got a third base in place. He's down 20 workers. He is getting ghosts. He is down the... he's up an upgrade, but I think in the grand scheme of things, he is... he's definitely not looking pretty. Now, obviously, it's still been a rough early game from MaxPax, but he can start to rectify that. I would say if he throws a 4th base down now, there's not really much more to ask of him. He already has a Robo-Bayon coming up, so he's looking for that tech switch as well. Stalkers get in, missile turrets falls, a couple of SCVs will begin to drop, and we have the Bio wanting to come in from the other side. We'll drop a little bit of a stim, a few Stalkers getting turned the other side, the SCV still getting hit heavily by those storms. Also just trying to surround the orbital command and try and play the protection game here as MaxPax pokes right on in. And his orbital's going to have to lift in a moment or two, which is not ideal. Obviously clears a lot of space to kind of get in on a bigger concave here if you want to as the Protoss, and then just commit to this fight with no ramps or anything to help you out as the Terran. A little bit of back and forth continues. Not going to find our way in yet. We're still going big with this Raven. It's a 10-kill Raven. It's been very effective over many auto turrets. Pulling back to the bottom left-hand side now. Let's see how it ends up doing. It looks as though it may get home safely at least. No, I think it was a misplay or an F2 or so, because now he's going to the upper right. He will confirm a 4th base coming in there. The Stalker warps in to push the Raven by. And any shot on this Raven is nice because you're going to bring it low. And the lower that Raven is, it's more easily picked off later in this game. Hey, what's up, Masker47? Thank you so much as well for the Prime sub. Appreciate you. Thank you for subbing with the Prime. Alright, ByuN's going to find a way up here. Good EMPs. First Colossus only just now arriving. I think there's one High Templar in the back that had Storm End. You were going to EMP it from a second Storm. Bio actually gets a pretty good jump from ByuN. They have to turn around, pull back. A lot of the Zealots going down. Only really the tech units left, which is always scary because if they start dropping, you have to replace them, and that's super expensive. MaxPax will cling on to the main components of his army as ByuN is forced to back away and hold back here for now. Engineering Bay coming up, the Vikings, the Ghosts, and the Marines coming over. +2 chronoing thermal lance on the way. The Robo Facility is going to chrono boost onto a Colossus as well. It's just going to get that started for a little bit. We still just have those High Templar cruising about a little. MaxPax still joining up. Quickly, a couple of Vikings on the way. MaxPax continuing to make a push down the right side. Again, the armory coming up. Marine Marauder Viking all coming through. We add on those SCVs. 160 to 180 supply. Army coming down. MaxPax looking to push right here. Fire will be there. Those rocks will go down. And that just, again, locks down a little bit more of a position. The SCV delayed from building that 4th base. Nice Storm, gonna hit a lot of units, and yeah, forces a split. A lot of lost attacking time during that split away from that Storm. Now another Storm gonna go toward the Vikings, which are taking a beating as well, especially with a couple of Archons underneath, getting a shot or two off to help out. And ByuN taking some pretty mega damage there. Overall, his army gonna be beaten up and bruised. Extra Bio stepping forward, and with the extra little bit of Bio stepping in right now, we have that fourth base finishing. Can ByuN just sit and play defensively here and try and hold on? Or will MaxPax have enough to truly push in and put an end to this opening game of Protoss versus Terran? 3 Colossus, a couple Archons, and a lot of Stormy Boys still available. More shots, just going to be seeing the Orbiter taking some damage, the missile turrets hitting the Colossus, a couple of EMPs coming down, the Archon will take some more damage as well. Storm coming down once more, and again just having Vikings Ghost, upgrades in general building through. The army of MaxPax looking to poke forward here. A lot of stuff in the production tab from ByuN. I mean, MaxPax is maxed out, so that does make sense. He's now starting to add to his bank as he gets a 5th base established, and hey, even want to start thinking about just dropping base number 6 down as well. You're on the map with map control, money stacking up. There's the point where an extra base and an extra couple of cannons and stacked defense already typically just go a long way, and then we'll stick around through the game. And the Nexus that I'm asking for is now already present on the production tab, so MaxPax thinks the same thing about kind of the preparations made here. Go. First Marine going down, a few Vikings looking to spread out. We are going to see Zealots around in that bottom right-hand side looking for the chance to maybe dive into that base. Couple Colossus again jumped on straight away. Messy fight from MaxPax. Got Storm there, catches the units coming around that corner, keeps them away from the fight. Now they turn around, herd into the Zealots. So the Zealots actually get to jump on that. MaxPax is going to go around the left-hand side. Didn't have a pretty fight at all. Losing the Colossus, not ideal. A few Zealots get on top of the siege tank. We will Storm again, hitting those ghosts in the front. MaxPax still pushing through. I don't know if he's got enough. He's got all of the Zealots reinforced on the right side. He's not protected his main army at all. He's sending his Zealots everywhere but with the main force, and it's left a lot of his tech units free to be denied. And I think that is a pretty major issue that MaxPax is facing. And he's gotten value out of those Zealots, but it's really left, like I say, that exposed army. And now we sit on 3 Immortals and an Archon, which is not a lot of splash damage. Another Immortal being added with the new Colossus that's in production from MaxPax, but all said and done, I'm not sure if I'm loving this in the slightest. Because that felt like a position for MaxPax that should have been a lot more comfortable, and he just took a series of rough fights. Oh, sorry guys, I misclicked trying to press the buttons for the press the buttons for the graphs. I mean, like I say, he really just prioritized doing more damage around the sides than maybe potentially winning an army fight, because he just had none of his Zealots in the center. Absolutely none at all. Yeah, sorry for the break screen up. At least I saw it happening. Sometimes I fat finger things and I just don't notice. You guys are like, BRB, question mark? You can see the position around the left-hand side. Oh, gets EMP'd on every High Templar there. And we've seen the Vikings coming about, going to look for that Colossus. We are going to try and push into this, but again, no real front line of Zealots. The Archons obviously heavily EMP'd. They're going to go down quickly. The Immortals are still standing around and fighting for a good amount of time. Again, we're choosing to send the Zealots and a lot of units around over here instead to hit this base and get 21 SCVs. MaxPax is going to clean those up. And again, ByuN's not in a position to really let this keep happening, because he's down 35 workers to 91. The economy of MaxPax is booming in comparison. That's probably part of why MaxPax is trading in the way that he is, because he's just like, as long as I'm keeping on making progress over here in these bases, it's going to be fine for me. I mean, this is no longer a base either, so ByuN nigh on all in at this point, as MaxPax with almost triple the worker count. He's going to eat a massive EMP again. The High Templar get EMP'd before they have a chance to do anything. Now we have a couple of Zels just peeling back. The Archon Morphin going to get killed, so ByuN's first shove forward has a little bit of potential. 3 Colossus have just joined the field, and Vikings are going to have to get off the ground and back into the skies. We EMP again, everything going to be EMP'd running in, but now the Zealot's on the left-hand side as well. The Colossus not being answered at all. The Vikings have not lifted up, and MaxPax is actually genuinely in still a little bit of trouble. He needs a few more warp ins. It's going to be a group of Stalkers that warp in. He's building 3 Immortals as well. The Vikings getting after those Colossus, gets 1, 2, and very nearly 3, but not quite. Loses a Nexus here, MaxPax, but at the same time, he's killed 26 SCVs. Because once again, part of the reason why he's not winning the fight is because he's just got a chunk of units elsewhere counterattacking, and MaxPax will clean out game 1 of this best of. In the top left-hand side, our blue Protoss player is MaxPax. As in the bottom right, our red Terran is going to be ByuN. We're playing on Pylon here for this second game. Sorry, I was reading chat comments. When Storm deals less damage over longer time, is EMP too good? I think what we're seeing right now is, so I think what I saw a lot of in this game, and what I think we're seeing a lot of more in general, is that Ghosts are hitting a lot of really good EMPs. And I think the problem is that the Ghosts are not afraid of kind of being up in the front and aggressively looking for EMPs, where in the past, if you step your Ghost forward, you get stormed and they start dying very quickly and you just can't afford those losses. And at the same time, I think it's also because Protoss are not looking for the same storms as before. So because you're not looking for those storms where it's like, I'm trying to clip the edge of the army all the time, you're kind of looking to use the storms a little bit later in the fight, but because of that, the Protoss are clumping the High Templar a lot. They're sitting in the back of the army, and as the Terran pushes forward, the Terran finds the EMP on all High Templar, just as the High Templar are then coming forward looking to storm, right? So I think there's the way in which the Protoss are trying to engage with these new High Templar is still a little bit of a work in progress, because the Terrans are hitting EMPs like they've not hit in months. So obviously as well, Storm has a different range, but I think that combination of Storm range and the fact that you don't necessarily just want to drop Storms instantly, right? Or in the same kind of way as before, I think that combination is definitely allowing us to see a pretty significant increase in terms of EMPs hit. What I don't understand, though, is that we've watched Protoss players for months be amazing at having High Templar everywhere. Like, there's been High Templar here, there, and absolutely, like, all over the place. Like, they're walking in from all part of the army, and that just doesn't seem to be... And that was not the case here for MaxPax. Like, every time in this fight there was an EMP, it was on top of all 7 High Templar. So I don't know what's making him walk around with clumped High Templar, because that's not been the case as of late. So... I feel like we're seeing more EMPs, but something is making the Protoss players make the EMPs more valuable as well, right? You don't understand the HP buff on Ghosts? It basically reverts the nerf in TvP because they die from the same amount of Colossus swipes as before. I think because it wasn't intended to be a TvP nerf. I think it was intended to be a TvZ nerf. And so the current change on Ghost basically makes it a nerf in TvZ while maintaining the Ghost in TvP. So, yeah, I think it's just in terms of what you're aiming to kind of direct at, and I think it's fair that we didn't really need to make the Ghosts easier to kill in TvP per se. I mean, maybe now you could say that, but I think the Ghost change was really diverted towards TvZ and making Banelings more effective against those Ghosts, so... And I think the HP change is to try and bring a bit more kind of just... kind of more understanding of what we've already know about in TvP, kind of back to the matchup, despite that light tag. And buffing it for your Proxy Ghost? Yeah, Proxy Ghost buff. Yeah. They say there's no balance council, yet Thermal's out here rubbing his hands together after every single one of these patches, huh? Unbelievable. Head back across the map as ByuN looks. Try and get some damage in early in this round 16 matchup. WardiTV Mondays edition 55. Gonna get a little bit of a boost in. Stalker gonna be there. Medevac taking some shots. We will go for the Widow Mine initially. Gonna be 2, and Pro's taking a little bit of a long distance journey to get away there. We are gonna be able to save at least 1 mine. Well, now we're not gonna lose the Medevac. That was micro that left something to be desired from ByuN. Yeah, I did. I had to take a moment to just double check, like, I haven't accidentally just played this first 4.5 minutes of the game myself. ByuN's not in the caster seat being like, no, Wardy, let me play. Because I don't know what that was. I think he was like, I'm going to save the mines. Then he was like, wait, you're attacking my medevac? And he's like, wait, you're attacking my medevac? And he's like, shit. And then he's like, I don't know what to do anymore. He's like, I still want to pick up this mine, but my medevac's dying. Definitely not an ideal moment as the bunker is going to be delayed. The SCV going down. As the few stalkers get set to potentially blink up in toward the main base here. So pressure coming in. Obviously no medevac pressure remaining on the other side of the map. That's just the Raven that's poised behind those bases. And that gives you the chance to be here nice and aggressive with these stalkers. If the tank is well placed, the tank covers a lot of this main base. Just this top corner, this top little sliver of base that isn't covered right now. The second siege tank will cover that perfectly. The thing with this first tank is you're also covering a lot of the natural and this tank here, so there's a lot of kind of the idea of the lack, the overlap of protection of tanks, which is why you don't just unsiege this one and move it up there, because you want to make sure this bait tank is still safe as well. So this will just sit there and the refinery will take some damage. That's going to be a cancel. And a couple stalkers keep on nibbling their way through those gases. So refinery's going down, tank's still going to step forward. Wouldn't mind this tank being a bit further forward as well, but anytime you put a tank over here, it's going to be extremely exposed. So I think, yeah, like here is fine. Anywhere else, maybe not so much where you want to be. So I'm going to look for the main base again. If they blink in, they would have to blink in, then step toward the tank to get a kill on it. So I don't think that's really a viable option just yet. Storm charge coming through, the extra gates coming online, the probes take a chance to get down the bottom. Stalkers will be setting up for the moment. A couple of tanks coming through. And charging the storm will continue to come about as we just have extra gates, the forge and the probes building right now. We scan out to the right side, not going to be able to do too much. Tanks in good position. They're going to push the stalkers away. And away they go. They are going to start moving out onto the map. So, a journey to the upper side, as there's a bunch of siege tanks here. Army supply good from ByuN, 60 to the 42. And the upgrades are about to be done, so it really is a push with some power behind it. The Raven being a bit of a distraction. We recall the Prism back. Stalkers will get back comfortably, so we're going to make sure that we're very committed to the defense here. Those storms available, tanks leading the charge. That was not the fight for ByuN at all. Too high tempo become an Archon, which is not bad. The storm's already dropped. We're going to stim into the storms. Gets rid of that Archon there. Do we have enough after this from MaxPax? Absolutely we do. The Stalkers alone would deal with this. Never mind the bits and pieces we have beyond that. ByuN just has the tanks in the front. The Zealots jump on him, and he's not ready to fight at the end of the day. Like, ByuN is not ready to take this engagement. He does not want this to go the way it's about to go, unfortunately, but alas, what can he really do at that point? Not really much else. Temple on the side takes a bit of damage. This was not the fight, and this has just not been ByuN's series. He actually had such a great opener in Game 1, but he's making mistakes. He's not playing his best StarCraft 2. I mean, we saw ByuN versus Clem the other day. That was a display of what ByuN can do. If he played like that in this series, this would have been at least a 1-0 lead for ByuN. The second game, obviously, I mean, we don't know, but that wouldn't have happened either. The second game would have still been up in the air more than likely, but yeah, this is far from the best ByuN that we've seen. So a heavy mistake kind of game from ByuN as the Prism heads around into the main. Viking going to be there to start zoning. We actually may get the Prism. Yeah, we should be good, right? Viking stays in reach. Good micro. The Zealots get dealt with. At the same time, though, MaxPax is running toward the front. MaxPax floating 1,200 minerals at the moment, so he has a bunch of money to spend on top of everything else. He does start a Nexus, he does start a second Robo, Colossus, and Thermal Lance, so that's where a lot of his gas is gone. Now Forge 2. So yeah, he had a lot of things that he was getting ready to build. As that Storm just going to keep the Terran back, force you to either split and fight through a choked area or take some splash damage moving through. Has ByuN ever beaten MaxPax? Yeah, I would say, if I had to guess, the win rate between these guys in the last year and a bit would probably be like 75% for MaxPax, if I had to guess. That's why I'm going to check it, and it's like, I'm completely wrong. I'm going to have to check it now, though. MaxPax, though, is on the verge of taking this fight. The Storm coming down, a couple of Archons trying to step through, the High Templar right there with everything else as well. +2/+1, Thermal Lance coming up, the Armory and the Engineering Bay coming online also. Marine Marauder, Ghost, Concussive Shells. Coming through too, as the army of MaxPax pulls up. Back through the top. So yeah, we pull away, we peel back, decide to take a few moments. I mean, nothing wrong with that. You're on a 4-base scenario. Your opponent is barely mining from the 3rd base yet. And we've got upgrades that are about to make life a lot easier, right? Thermal Lance is going to make it easier for these Colossus to be a much bigger part of this game, for example. So that's going to be a huge deal. So yeah, we've got a lot of things that are going to help keep you in a much more positive position here overall. Couple of EMPs actually going to land on that first High Templar in the front. Storm comes down a bit preemptively, but that's again a little bit more fine than it ever used to be before. Preemptive probably doesn't make a lot more sense than it used to. 2/+1 still coming about. A few Zealots getting in. They're going to deal some damage. They're going to get pushed around to the side as well. That's the next Storm coming in once again. Just going to take an opportunity to kind of push forward here. MaxPax with the Storms forcing the Terran back, and then the Archon Colossus chasing through. Right now, we're killing an Orbital Command and still winning the fight as well, as 22 SCVs have already dropped. I think fair to say that this one is very quickly going to be wrapping up. GG's. I'm interested in the MaxPax ByuN history this year.